So I couldn't just talk about one deck or 5 decks. I don't even know if it's 10 decks. I want to talk about a lot of decks. What's going on, you guys? Slim here, finally back to talk to you guys about what I feel are just, in general, the best decks you can play this format. Now, I know we did this probably like a month ago, talking about the best decks you can play, like based on the ban list, stuff like that. You know, what we could play the previous format, etc., etc. And it's a series that I want to continue here on the channel. Something I think is just really important. I love usually doing top 5s. I love doing top 10s. I think they're amazing. I think channels that do them are also really on to something every time they do them. I just noticed, though, for myself that every time I make these, it's like, you know, there's more than 5. There's more than 10. Sometimes there's less than 10, but there's more than 5. So you see kind of where the conundrum is. And I don't believe in saying, oh, these are the top 15, these are the top 20. Like, I think it's better to just talk about it in general and just cover everything from any deck you could think of to, you know, the best deck of the format, supposed deck of the format, to just anything you want to play. So hopefully that sounds interesting and we'll hop into it. So I'm going to start with the best decks of the format that you can play. We're going to give it up to anything rogue. We're going to start with anything rogue, and that could cover a plethora of decks. There are so many rogue decks right now, and I feel like, of course, one of the main rogue decks people are talking about is Guru Control. They feel that since Super Poly came to 3, Solemn Judgment came to 3, all these things, like, you know, it got like the most support. I know people have said they're not crazy about Solemn Judgment in the deck. I've actually seen that in comments and stuff like that. So I don't really know. Not being a Guru Controller player myself, I'm not sure how effective or how good that is for the deck, or if it even does anything for the deck. But I know for damn sure 3 Super Poly is insane. 3 Super Poly is the nuts, and the deck really already utilized it in the previous list. So the ability to just, you know, have an extra copy, see it more consistently, makes it nuts. Rogue decks like True Draco, of course, shout out to James Sled, you already know, it's Mr. Sloppy Toppy. Yeah, Draco is still insane. I've seen so many people playing Draco just online and at locals. I've seen people playing it because, I mean, let's face it, you got 3 Solemn Judgment, nothing, what'd you lose? You lost to Terraforming. That's it. That's literally it. And some people say, oh, that was kind of a big hit. I don't think so. If you really need to, like, I mean, you already have the 1 Terraforming. I've seen some people even try to play set rotation. I don't know what their other field spell is, to be honest. It's weird to me, but you know, that's neither here nor there. But you do have the ability to still get to all your cards. You have 3 Card of Demise. You have 3 Potted, Potted Duality. You have, if you play Upstart, you have all the draw cards. You have so many things. You're going to get to your diagram one way or another. Or you can just hard open it if you play 40. So it can happen. So I think Draco is still one of the crazy rogue decks. There's, of course, just plenty of other decks I've seen. Another category I want to put into this is new decks. Now, new decks, I guess, kind of fall into like the rogue category right now because we don't know what they're going to do. And as far as those decks go, I'm talking about, of course, the Marincess, I think is what it's called, and the Tenyi, and the soon-to-be-released the Fire Fist. Now, these are all in the same category, kind of like the rogue / new decks, because the only reason I put them in this category is we don't know what they're going to do in this format, but they're definitely options that you have available to you. Marincess works so great with Paleozoics and with you know, just like the water frog engine in general. So I can definitely see people trying to do something with that. I've seen people trying to play it online already. So I'm sure someone's going to make it work. We already know someone's going to make it work. It'll pop up somewhere in a regional, pop up somewhere maybe at the YCS, like, we don't know, but it'll definitely be something that I think people are going to try and eventually perfect. As well as, like I said, the newer decks. There's the Tenyi deck and the Fire Fist. You know, when what is it, the Fist of the Gadget stuff comes out, that's going to be something that, you know, will impact Fire Fist for sure. We've seen a lot of videos coming out now talking about Fire Fist, because now that that set has been released, you now know what you're getting, and there is a lot of Fire Fist stuff that I think is really important, you know, for that archetype and for that deck. And I think we're going to see a lot of people trying to work with it. The Link Monster is nuts. Other decks that fall in this category, of course, are was it Magical Musketeers and Magical Musketeers, because with the new Link, people have been trying to make it work. It's neither here nor there. People are not really saying how good or how bad it is, but they're definitely giving it a try, and I really like that. Again, it gives you more options at your disposal. And one of the last decks I want to talk about, like in the rogue category, is definitely that great Manju stun deck we saw. So there was a card market event that took place last weekend. It was one of the biggest events we've had lately, you know, because, you know, the format's been kind of stale. We're in the off season, you guys should know this. But it was pretty cool to see that it got, I believe, 4th place, and it was playing the great Maju Deeza, the one that gains, like, for every banished card, and it literally just Man, that deck looks insane, like absolutely insane. Like you just like one punch them with great Majin. You just play so many good like stun cards. Like you play the Floodgates, you play the Solemns, you play Crackdown, you play all these crazy cards, and it's nuts. But yeah, I know you guys know what I'm talking about. It's been featured for sure on other channels, so definitely check that out. That's a very cool deck. And lastly, I thought there's gonna be it, but another one I want to throw into. I hate putting in the rogue category, but it is the rogue category is Mech Knight Invoked. Y'all know, personal favorite deck on the channel. Definitely love that deck to death. Gonna be profiling it very soon. I actually been waiting on a couple cards that are coming in the mail. So yeah, once those come through, definitely be profiling that for you guys. One thing I'll say is I think that deck just keeps getting better. Lamnia is insane, being able to search Gamma. It being able to give us 2 Link Arrows is nuts. It working in perfect synergy with the Mech Knights is nuts. They're psychic, you banish and you search Gamma at the end phase. The fact we have 3 Super Poly, like there are so many factors on the table that basically make Mech Knight Invoked better each format. Now I know a lot of people are going to disregard the deck because it's a going second deck, but it's definitely not a deck I would just give up on immediately, because I think the deck still has amazing potential. And lastly, again, for a deck that I guess you have to put in the rogue category, again, I hate kind of doing that, but as a going second deck, Cyber Dragons are still insane. They didn't lose anything. They're nuts. So I think Cyber Dragons are definitely gonna be something we're gonna see. All these decks I mentioned that are kind of in like the rogue category, we're going to see in some shape or fashion. I'm sure I missed some, but these are the ones that I had off the top of my head that I actually jotted down. So hopefully, if I forgot any, be sure to let me know in the comments below. But those are definitely the decks I feel that are in the rogue / new category that will definitely have potential this current format. Now on to the meta decks. I know, like it's a lot of fun talking about all the rogue decks for sure, but we also have to talk about the decks that are going to see the high representation. And I'm going to talk about Solomon Great. So I don't know how its representation was at the card market thing. I heard it wasn't that great. And a lot of people are taken back by that, but again, it could just be the first quote unquote event. It's not a YCS, it's not a regional. It's kind of like a regional in a sense, but it's not the same thing. I feel that Solomon Great definitely just have to find their place. Losing Gazelle and losing Circle, like I've told people on multiple occasions, like I knew Gazelle was going to happen. The fact that Circle happened kind of threw me for a loop, because I was like, damn, that really hurts the consistency, but I think people will still find a way to make the deck work. I've already played against multiple versions of the deck, and it still does what it needs to do. It's just finding the proper replacements in those slots for Solomon Great to make it work. There's so many different cards that you can put in their place. Sign Up Mining gets a lot of value because you can put things in. You can put in extra Cybers monsters to give a little more consistency. There's a lot of cards that people are playing. There's that Sea Archiver that people are playing. There's a lot of different ways that I feel Solomon Great can, be, successful this format. It'll definitely not be as represented, and it definitely will not be probably as successful as it was the last format, winning so many events, but I think it'll definitely still be up there in a deck that you should expect to face in this current format. So I'm not ruling out Solomon Great by any stretch of the imagination. Next, I've got Orcas. So Orcas, yeah, they lost Rusty. They lost the ability to end on the double Fog Blade and everything else, but people are finding ways to make them work. They're using that new Tenyi card, the one that just special summons itself. They're using, of course, the Engage package. They're not using the Trickstar engine anymore. They're just using very simple stuff, and they're ending on, like about 2 disruptions. Now, I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but believe it or not, if it can make 2 disruptions through hand traps, or it can do whatever, take out, you start with 5 cards, you go down to 4, you draw to 5, and it has 2 disruptions. Basically, you're only playing with 3 cards, and yeah, you can do a lot of things with 3 cards. But I feel that, if they have Babel on the field, that they can have more interruptions, and I think that the deck still has a lot of potential. There's been that combo with the Bomber Dragon, where making the Bomber Dragon makes it to where, pretty much anytime you special summon anything, it pretty much just blows up. You also have the ability to trigger it using your monster, your Orcas that are in the graveyard under Babel. So I see a lot of potential for the deck. I know that there's so many different, engines and so many different things that people are trying to do to keep the deck working. I think Orcas in general will also be just a very splashable engine that you'll see in a lot of decks. There's been some crazy decks that are just splashing Orcas, and I mean, it works. That's kind of how Orcas started, if you guys remember. They just splashed it into the deck, and it did wonders. So I'm really anxious to see what happens with Orcas going forward. But I definitely think we're going to see it have success. Ibli is also an amazing card. Ibli is like a one card combo, so there is that. So keep that in mind. Definitely do not rule out Orcas. I think Lancia is still going to be an amazing side deck card, of course, for other decks that are here on this list. Next, I have got Pendulums. Shout out to Jeremy, shout out to Triff, shout out to all the Pendulum players. Who are not me, because I've never played Pendulums. I have no idea. The feeling of putting up like 14, 15 negates, or, just doing the crazy things with Apex, Avion, all those things. But overall, Pendulums, man, they're scary-ish. Yeah, they're scary as shit, to be honest. They didn't lose anything. They basically can just go into guard dragons as well as thunder dragons can, and they can end on tons of negates. They can end on really cool negates. Being able to play some of the stuff they play is insane. They have the pendulum mechanic, which is bonkers by itself. And the thing is that they can just play through a lot of things, and there's not a lot I can say just because we already know pendulums were a good lower tier deck last format. They're going to do amazing this format, and I know a lot of people have been talking about it. A lot of people have been hyping the deck, and I'm really anxious to see what it does. Yes, Ogre is going to have a lot of value. Yes, getting rid of that Electromite is going to have a lot of value. But I've even seen online them just, you hit the Electromite, they can keep playing, they can keep doing things. Being able to eventually get to Guard Dragon plays is nuts. I think the fact that that deck evolved to the point where it's playing Guard Dragons is crazy. I know it's been like that for a while now, but to see it is just so crazy because you would think, it's a Pendulum deck. Is it really going to do that? Yeah, it does. The Guard Dragons have actually been so insane that so many decks can play them, and Pendulum is definitely one of the ones that takes advantage of that. So I expect amazing things from our dedicated Pendulum players, and I expect to see them top regionals, win regionals, top YCS, win YCS, etc. Again, I'm not super versed in Pendulums, but I definitely, of course, respect them and definitely see a lot of things happening for them in this format. And yeah, do not sleep on Pendulums. Have your side deck geared, have some slots for Pendulums. If you don't, they're going to just stomp you for sure. So keep that in mind. And okay, and I got 2 more decks, you guys. I have my baby's Thunder Dragons, of course, right? Of course, I had to talk about them. Now, they are projected to be the best deck, and that's what some people are saying. And then the last deck I'll talk about are projected to be the best deck. So here's the thing. I think that Thunder is still insane. I think Danger Thunder, while it did get some hits, it did not get that many hits. It is still playable. You've already seen it have success at the Card Market Tournament. Basically, they're just playing all the Dragon Extenders we thought they would. They're playing the Defrag Dragons. They're playing the Distributors. They're playing any of the cards that would replace the cards we lost. They're still playing the 1-of Dragons because they're still good. You can still combo. You can still do things the way you used to. You took some danger hits. You just replace them with the next best dangers, and you make it work. You just fill in the missing pieces. We didn't lose any of the Thunder engine. We didn't lose any of the Crusadia engine. We lost some of the Dragon engine, but not that much. You still have 3 Levianeer. You still have all the extra deck stuff. You still have the Guard Dragons. We still have Star Usual. I can go on and on and on. There are so many things that make this deck insane. So I think Danger Thunder is still going to be an amazing deck. Definitely going to be one of the most represented. And on that same note, I think Pure Thunder Dragon is also amazing. It's a deck that I'm actually working on a profile for you guys soon. I know you guys have been wanting to see that. There have been some extra deck cards I've needed to get, so I needed to do that. And yeah, if you guys want to, shameless plug, down below, you need to order your own cards. Use my TCG Player affiliate link. It helps out the channel a lot, helps me out, and I appreciate it. Yeah, I wanted to pick up a couple of last cards because you guys know how I am. I cannot stand proxying in my deck profiles, and to be honest, I'm getting so away from doing deck profiles of my own decks with the online cards. I want the physical cards in front of me. I know you guys want the physical cards too, so there's that. But yeah, I got a couple cards coming in soon, so definitely as soon as those are all in, we'll start doing some deck profiles. I got 3 or 4 deck profiles lined up, no joke. I just didn't have the cards on me. So once I get those cards and they're in my possession, I'll definitely do those deck profiles for you. But Pure Thunder, I definitely think is still an amazing deck, and we'll definitely see something from it because people forget what Pure Thunder does. People forget about how powerful Titan is. They forget about how powerful Fusion is. They forget about all those things and how it doesn't play Sekka's Lights. It can play hand traps, it can play real spells, and it can play, a really good grind game versus the, the glass cannon. As much as I love Danger Thunder, it can be a glass cannon. If the board gets disrupted, your extra deck is pretty much gone. You use 12 cards, so you don't have a really good recovery outside of Levianeers. So there's something to be said there. But yeah, I think Pure Thunder is, Pure Thunder, Danger Thunder, any form of Thunder, we're going to see something with it. And on the same note, those Dragon Link decks, same thing. Haven't really messed with it just yet, but I think that those definitely have a lot of potential. Anything with Ib, the Justicar is insane, so I definitely see potential in all those decks and put them all in the same category. And last but not least is Sky Striker. So that's the thing, is everyone is in a tug of war of what the best deck really will be. Sky Striker has proven itself already to be insane. I played against Sky Strikers, and it feels like the same exact deck. Yes, they lost multi-roll to 1, but they have the ability to, try to mulligan it out. They have the ability to, engage into it. They have all the things that they had All they lost was basically the one multi-role, and yes, they lost Kagari previous, but you guys saw how well they were able to play even with one Kagari. So now being able to just, you know, utilize their multi-role, use Shark Cannon for recyclability, all those things. Not Shark Cannon, Hercules base, being able to use all. Shark Cannon is an amazing card too. Like, that card just steals your opponent's monsters. You know, you link into stuff. It's crazy. I think there's a lot of potential for Sky Strikers going forward. They're highly represented still, like in Europe, and I think that's going to make a lot of players be like, yeah, I need to give this deck a chance. Oh, I need to not give up on this deck. And the deck, all the main stuff, it got reprinted. All the expensive stuff, the Engages, the Widowmakers, the stuff that people had a really hard time getting last format, is more readily available and it's cheaper. So I think we'll definitely see a resurgence of Sky Strikers. And I think that overall, the deck is still very good at what it does. It's very consistent at what it does. And trust me, having to fight through a bunch of Widowmakers, hand traps, you know, all these things, Shark Cannons that, you know, just disrupt your graveyard, Call by the There's all these things that can basically get in your way. And they're also playing cards like Card of Demise. You guys have seen it. The new build where they play Card of Demise so that, you know, they can just draw more cards, you know, just out advantage the opponent. And that's what the deck is very good at. It's very good at gaining a lot of advantage, and it just out resources the opponent like every game. So it's pretty crazy, and I definitely see its potential. And I almost forgot, but dinosaurs, those are the rogue category. Couldn't forget Lost World Dino, just remembered it. But yeah, those are the rogue category. But yeah, that's it. Those are all the decks off the top of my head that you can play this format that I think just have a lot of potential. I'm sure there are some I missed, as always, but I'd like to know if I missed any, what they are in the comments below. What do you guys think about this format? We start with the UDS in Indianapolis, followed by the YCS in Portland, followed by regionals in different areas depending on where you're at. And I think it's gonna be really interesting to see what happens going forward. And of course, when when August is done and we move on to September, we'll probably have an updated one of these. It'll be based off of, you know, the results and stuff from that, but I definitely see a lot of potential for all these decks I've mentioned. I'd like to know what you guys think of more potential decks in the comments below. And yeah, if you need any of your cards, again, shameless plug, my TCG Player affiliate link is in the description. If you guys use it, it helps me out. It goes back to the channel. I really want to, you know, add a couple new things to this channel, visual and whatnot. I'm not tech savvy, for anyone who's wondering. I am not that tech savvy, but I am slowly trying to teach myself how to do things, because I'm a very competitive person, but I'm also I want to learn to do something for myself kind of person. I do appreciate people's help, but at the end of the day, I do still try to, you know, do things myself. So yeah, so that's going on too. But yeah, a constant battle, me and myself. But yeah, anyways, I'd like to know what you guys think of this video. If you guys did, yep, those things. And wherever the heck, I honestly never know where I put the bell. I think I'm gonna get a new like bell logo sometimes, and then I'm gonna see if I can make one of those cool little digital things where it shows you like dinging it, because yeah, apparently that really matters now. Like, if you ding the bell, that way you don't miss any of the videos. I don't know if that's true or not. I'm just going by what I hear and what people tell me. But yeah, if you guys hit the notification bell, I appreciate it. You guys will know what I upload, and yeah, it helps out. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of the best decks of the formats are. Let me know any decks I forgot, and let me know what deck you guys are playing currently and how it's been doing for you. And we'll definitely talk about this more in an upcoming video. But yeah, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.